Hi everyone! Welcome to Souped Up Recipes. Today we're making beef jerky. This is like everybody's favorite snack. It's healthy and delicious. I know it's pretty expensive to buy it from the store, but it's not that hard to make it at home. In this video, I'm going to show you 3 recipes of different flavors. So let's get started. It is very important to select the cut of beef. This is what I'm going to use in this video. Beef eye round. Round steak is what everybody suggests that you should use for beef jerky. It is so lean, which makes your beef jerky last longer. But on the other side, lean cut equals less flavor. That is why I have also tested with tip sirloin. It has a higher fat content. Not just the fat that you can see by your eyes easily. I'm also talking about the intermuscular fat, also known as marbling. That equals more flavor and tenderness. But everybody said it caused the jerky to turn rancid faster. When I tested this cut, it was amazingly delicious. Lots of flavors, and the jerky is kind of juicy, which is a huge surprise. It lasts 6 days at room temperature without going bad. If you think you can finish the beef jerky within 6 days, I strongly suggest you give this a go. In today's video, I'm going to do what everybody suggests. Use a lean cut of the beef. It is still frozen. Put it in the fridge overnight to defrost it. It won't be completely soft the next day, which is easier to work with the knife. Trim off the outer layer fat. You can ask your butcher to do this for you. When I buy this, the supermarket is extremely busy and I hate waiting in the line for hours, so I decide to do it myself. It just needs some patience and a little love. Okay, that looks nice. Next, we're going to slice the beef into thin pieces. I am cutting the beef against the fiber. It will be easier to chew. Some commercial beef jerky is actually cut with the fiber. I have tried both ways, and they all seem fine to me. I don't think it makes that big of a difference though. For the thickness, I prefer 3 mm thick pieces. If it's too thin, the beef will dry out quickly like a paper. If it's too thick, it takes too long to dry, especially if you don't have a dehydrator. What I'm cutting now is a bit thicker than what I like. That is because it is hard to do it by hand. You can ask your butcher to do it for you. This reminds me of Chef John's beef jerky video. He said, don't try to be a hero to do it yourself. Guess what? He's right. Cutting it by hand usually causes irregular thickness, which makes it harder to cook evenly. But anyway, I'm making beef jerky at home. Uneven is the beauty of homemade beef jerky. I'm gonna do 3 flavors today. Each flavor I will use 500 grams of beef. After I'm done with those big, thick, uneven pieces, I cut the rest into smaller and thinner pieces. These are much better. I put them in different containers so I can do different marinades. The first one is honey Char Siu flavor, also known as Chinese roasted barbecue flavor. It is classic. You will need 3 to 5 tablespoons of honey. Depends on how sweet do you want. Follow up with 2 tablespoons of oyster sauce, 4 tablespoons of hoisin sauce. This is what I'm using. I'll put the Amazon link in the description so you can check it out. 1 tablespoon of soy sauce and half teaspoon of red yeast powder. This is completely optional. It is for color. It doesn't affect the taste at all. If you don't have it, you can skip it or use food coloring. Give it a little taste to make sure you like the flavor. Pour that to the beef. These are the big slices that I did. It is a bit difficult to mix. You want to make sure every piece of meat is coated well. You can also use a Ziploc bag. I think that will be easier. Cover that and we'll keep doing the second flavor. Teriyaki beef jerky. I know it doesn't sound like a Chinese food, but the seasoning combination we are using is also popular in Chinese cuisine. 3.5 tablespoons of honey, 3 tablespoons of soy sauce, 2.5 teaspoons of grated ginger, 2.5 teaspoons of grated garlic, 2 tablespoons of diced scallion. Mix it up and make sure the honey is well cooperated. It smells good already. Put the beef into the sauce as well. I figured out adding it piece by piece is easier to mix. Put it back to the container. I also use a plastic wrap to cover the top. You can use a Ziploc bag as well. Cover the lid and we can move on to the last flavor. Sichuan spicy numbing beef jerky. You will need to grind some spices. 6 pieces of hot dried chilies. You can adjust the heat up to your own level. Half of a star anise. A small piece of dry orange peel. You can use fresh orange peel if you want. A small piece of cinnamon. A quarter of a black cardamom. 3 pieces of cloves. A quarter teaspoon of white peppercorn. A quarter teaspoon of cumin seeds. 1 tablespoon of Sichuan peppercorn. Grind them into powder. Let it go through a sieve to get rid of some stubborn pieces. Put that in the mixing bowl and keep adding the rest of the ingredient. 1 tablespoon of Chinese cooking wine. If you have high-level alcohol, that would be even better. 1 teaspoon plus a quarter teaspoon of salt or to taste. 2 teaspoons of sugar. 1 tablespoon of vegetable oil, because the spicy and numbing elements usually attach to oil, so this will help the seasoning get infused to every piece of meat. Mix that together. I forgot to add some soy sauce. Adding it now. You can see this marinade has so little liquid. When making beef jerky, you are basically taking out the moisture from the meat, so you want to use less liquid possible. Marinate the beef piece by piece, so you can distribute the flavor first. This is pretty difficult to mix due to the tiny amount of liquid. Once multiple pieces are coated with the marinade, you can start mixing it by your hand. Your hand is always the best mixer in the kitchen. Cover it with the lid as well. I finished all the flavors. Let's put them in the fridge overnight. Take them out the next day. They should all be well marinated. Place all the beef on drying rack so the air can get around both sides of the beef. I also used some parchment paper and baking pan to catch the sauce that is dripping down. It is better to leave some space between them, but my drying rack is too small, so I have to crowd them. That is okay, because after drying it an hour or 2, they will shrink and become smaller. You just do the same thing and finish all the beef. We don't need a dehydrator for this recipe, but we are going to use a fan. The fan I'm using is big and strong. I put it on low setting and it only takes about 4 hours. If you use a small fan, it will take up to 10 hours. Depends on how fast the air flows. Every fan is different. Just keep an eye on it and check the moisture once in a while. The spicy numbing beef jerky has less liquid, so it will dry out faster than others. I took it away earlier so it doesn't get too dry. Keep the fan on for the other two flavors. Once the surface is completely dry, press it down a little bit and your fingers should not be wet. Also, you can bend it to see how soft they are. They should be dry but still pliable. If you're making different flavors at one time, make sure you check them all because different batch needs different time to dry. They are already looking like beef jerky now. I have seen some people just eat it right away, but I want to cook it in the oven just to be safe. Preheat your oven to 180 degrees Fahrenheit. My oven heat is coming from the bottom, so I place the spicy numbing beef jerky on the top of the rack because it cooks faster than others. I put the honey char siu and the teriyaki in the middle of the rack. Close the oven and let it cook for 1 to 2 hours. It depends on the thickness and moisture of the beef. It could also take longer than 2 hours. Every oven is different, so keep an eye on it. The spicy numbing beef jerky only takes 1 hour, so I took it out of the oven first. It is dry, but not like leather. You can still bend it and easily break it apart. It is the authentic Sichuan flavor, very intense. I find that it is quite addictive. When I do the test recipe, everyone takes the honey char siu and the teriyaki flavor, but I cannot stop eating the Sichuan beef jerky. It's just so good. If you like spicy and numbing flavor, you should give this a try. Okay, let's take a look of the other two flavors. They took about 1.5 hours to cook. Both of them contain honey, so you want to make sure not to burn the honey. This one, it didn't cook evenly because it was on the edge. Let me show you. You see how this part is brighter than the edge? That means the honey is burned. And look at this one. The light can go through the meat pieces. That is how I check if the teriyaki and the honey char siu beef jerky is perfectly made or not. It is so easy to tear it apart. It tastes salty and sweet, very aromatic. I can just snack it all day. Now look at the honey char siu beef jerky. Even though I cut it so thick, it is still pliable and it is super delicious, sweet and salty, has a unique Asian hoisin taste. The honey creates a layer which makes the beef jerky is still kind of soft and easy to chew. I just love the flavor and the texture. I put all three flavors together so you can see the differences. For every 500 grams of meat, I get about 230 to 250 grams of beef jerky. You can put this in a sealable bag. They will stay good for 10 days at room temperature or 3 weeks in the fridge. As always, you can find the written down recipe in the description box down below the video. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give it a try yourself. Leave me a comment and let me know how it goes. If you like Chinese food, subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any episode. If you want to know more about me or support me, check out my Patreon link. It's right there. And I'll see you next time. Bye!